the Philippines has rejected a $5.5 billion U.S. arms deal for F-16 fighter jets, a move that reverberates across the Indo-Pacific. This isn't just about warplanes, it's about sovereignty, economic reality, and the challenge of navigating between Washington and Beijing. The decision signals a shift. Manila is prioritizing self-reliance and strategic autonomy over costly alliances. Even the closest allies won't always follow Washington's playbook, especially when the price is too high. In today's world, influence is earned through respect for a nation's unique circumstances, not just through arms deals. The U.S.-Philippine Defense Alliance, rooted in the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, stands as one of the oldest and most enduring military partnerships in the Asia-Pacific region. Born out of the ashes of World War II and the shared struggle for freedom, this alliance was built on a foundation of mutual trust, common values, and a vision for regional stability. The signing of the treaty in 1951 marked a pivotal moment, not just for the two nations, but for the entire region, signaling a commitment to collective security and cooperation. Over the decades, this partnership has weathered immense change: political upheavals, shifting global power dynamics, and evolving security threats. Through joint military exercises, intelligence sharing, and humanitarian assistance, the alliance has continually adapted, demonstrating remarkable resilience and flexibility in the face of uncertainty. Once anchored by massive U.S. military bases at Subic Bay and Clark Air Base, the partnership underwent a dramatic transformation after their closure in 1992. This pivotal moment forced both nations to rethink their strategic priorities and adapt to a rapidly changing security environment, moving away from a reliance on permanent bases toward more flexible forms of cooperation. In recent years, the rise of China as a regional power and the intensification of maritime disputes in the South China Sea have once again pushed the alliance to the forefront. The renewed focus on external defense has underscored the importance of a strong, credible partnership in safeguarding territorial integrity and maintaining peace in the region. To meet these new challenges, Manila embarked on an ambitious military modernization program, aiming to transform its armed forces into a more capable and responsive force. Central to this effort was the acquisition of advanced multi-role fighter jets, with the F-16 deal envisioned as a symbol of the alliance's revitalization and a testament to shared commitment to regional security. The proposed F-16 deal was more than just a transaction. It represented a renewed pledge of cooperation, technological advancement, and mutual support. It was meant to send a clear message that both nations stood ready to face emerging threats together. However, the unexpected rejection of the deal introduced a dramatic twist in the alliance's story. It revealed the complex realities, competing interests, and shifting priorities that both countries must navigate as they chart their future course. The decision underscored that even the strongest partnerships are not immune to change and must constantly evolve. Ultimately, this moment serves as a powerful reminder that alliances are living entities. They must adapt to new realities, technologies, and geopolitical landscapes if they are to remain relevant and effective in a rapidly changing world. Today, the Philippines is charting its own course, asserting its sovereignty and making independent decisions, while still valuing the deep historic ties that bind it to the United States. The alliance endures, tested by time, and continues to evolve as both nations look toward an uncertain but hopeful future. The U.S. offered the Philippines a comprehensive package: 12 advanced F-16 Viper jets, cutting-edge weaponry, and full support. The F-16 would have been a leap in capability for Manila, promising deep interoperability with U.S. forces. But the price tag, over $5 billion, was daunting, especially for a country with limited resources. Beyond the initial cost, long-term maintenance and operational expenses made the deal unsustainable. For Manila, the F-16S represented both an opportunity and a burden. Ultimately, the financial strain outweighed the strategic benefits. The deal's collapse highlights the tough choices smaller nations face in modernizing their militaries. After years of debate, Manila chose fiscal responsibility over prestige. Economic managers warned that the F-16's cost would strain the national budget, especially amid post-pandemic recovery. President Marcos Jr.'s administration prioritized economic stability, signaling a pragmatic approach to defense. Attention now turns to alternatives like Sweden's Gripen, touted for affordability and lower operating costs. the government seeks a solution that balances military needs with economic realities. The decision reflects a classic guns versus butter dilemma. Defense modernization cannot come at the expense of broader development. Manila's message: national security must rest on a foundation of economic health. The search for a cost-effective fighter continues. China welcomed the F-16 rejection, framing it as a move for regional peace. Chinese officials quickly seized on the decision, presenting it as evidence that the Philippines is resisting foreign interference and choosing a path of stability. State media highlighted the move as a positive step, suggesting it could help ease tensions and foster dialogue in a region often marked by suspicion and rivalry. Yet, the South China Sea remains a flashpoint, with the Philippines facing constant pressure from Chinese maritime forces. Incidents of harassment and standoffs are frequent, as Chinese Coast Guard ships shadow Philippine vessels and assert their claims over disputed waters. The presence of the grounded BRP Sierra Madre, a symbol of Philippine resistance, underscores the daily risks faced by Filipino sailors and Marines. For Manila, acquiring modern fighter jets was seen as vital for defending its sovereignty and deterring aggression. These advanced aircraft would have bolstered the country's ability to patrol its vast maritime territory and respond to incursions. However, leaders in Manila are acutely aware that any move perceived as provocative could escalate tensions with Beijing, potentially drawing the country into a larger conflict. The United States, meanwhile, views the Philippines as a crucial strategic partner, especially in the context of rising tensions over Taiwan and the broader Indo-Pacific. In recent years, Washington has increased joint military exercises, expanded base access, and deepened defense cooperation, signaling its commitment to regional security and to supporting Manila's defense modernization. Manila's decision to reject the F-16s signals a desire to modernize its military on its own terms, strengthening its capabilities while avoiding being drawn too deeply into the U.S.-China rivalry. Philippine officials emphasize the importance of self-reliance and strategic autonomy, seeking to balance relationships with both superpowers. Across Southeast Asia, nations walk a delicate tightrope, seeking the security benefits of U.S. partnerships while remaining wary of alienating China, their largest trading partner. Regional leaders frequently meet to discuss collective security, but consensus is elusive, as each country weighs its own interests and vulnerabilities. The choice of fighter jets is about more than just hardware. It's a powerful statement of foreign policy priorities and national identity. Every procurement decision sends a message to allies and rivals alike about where a country stands in the shifting balance of power. The Philippines is navigating a complex and often unpredictable geopolitical landscape, where every move is scrutinized by both neighbors and global powers. Diplomacy, defense, and economic interests are all intertwined, making each decision fraught with consequences. Ultimately, Manila's decision is a powerful signal to the region, a declaration of its intent to chart an independent course, safeguard its sovereignty, and play a constructive role in maintaining peace and stability in Southeast Asia. Politically, the move marks a significant assertion of Philippine independence, signaling to the world that the country is ready to chart its own course and prioritize its national interests above all else. This decision is not just about military hardware. It's about reclaiming agency and making choices that best serve the Filipino people, both now and in the future. For the United States, this development serves as a wake-up call, a reminder that long-standing alliances can't be sustained by arms sales and military aid alone. True partnerships require mutual respect, understanding, and a willingness to adapt to changing priorities. The billions of dollars saved by not pursuing the more expensive option can now be redirected to other pressing needs. This means more funding for defense modernization, but also for critical infrastructure projects, education, and social programs that uplift communities and drive long-term growth. By choosing a non-U.S. platform like the Gripen, the Philippines is opening the door to new international partnerships. This diversification not only strengthens Manila's bargaining position, but also encourages healthy competition and innovation in its defense sector. From a security perspective, the rejection of the initial deal may delay immediate modernization, leaving the Air Force reliant on older equipment for a bit longer. However, in the long run, this approach could allow the Philippines to build a larger, more sustainable fleet, one that is easier to maintain and operate, and better suited to the country's unique needs and budget constraints. The focus is shifting away from prestige purchases and symbolic gestures, and toward practical solutions, jets that are affordable, reliable, and ready to fly when needed. This means more aircraft in the skies, more pilots trained, and a stronger, more resilient Air Force overall. Other Southeast Asian nations are watching these developments closely, taking notes as they consider their own procurement strategies and defense priorities. The choices made by the Philippines could inspire neighboring countries to rethink their own approaches, potentially leading to a wave of new deals and partnerships across the region. As a result, the region may soon witness a more multipolar defense landscape, with countries seeking to balance relationships with multiple partners rather than relying on a single superpower. Middle powers are increasingly asserting their own agendas, shaping the future of regional security through collaboration and independent decision-making. In this evolving environment, the Philippines is leading by example, demonstrating that it's possible to choose value, autonomy, and national interest over tradition and external pressure. By prioritizing what truly matters, the country is setting a new standard for sovereignty and smart decision-making in Southeast Asia. Defense experts see the decision as pragmatic, not anti-US. The F-16 was like a luxury car, impressive but too costly to maintain. Lifecycle costs matter. Operating more affordable jets like the Gripen means more planes in the air for the same budget. For a nation with vast maritime territory, quantity and reliability trump prestige. By diversifying suppliers, Manila reduces dependency and gains flexibility in foreign policy. The move signals a maturing defense policy, balancing strong U.S. ties with new partnerships. The Philippines isn't rejecting the U.S., just an offer that didn't fit its needs. The shift is from prestige-driven to needs-driven procurement. The goal: credible, sustainable, and affordable air defense. It's a rational choice for long-term security. With the F-16 off the table, Manila's focus shifts to the Gripen. Negotiations with Saab will intensify, with hopes for favorable terms and technology transfer. The outcome will determine how quickly the Philippines can close its air defense gap. The U.S.-Philippine alliance remains strong, but Washington may need to offer more flexible support. China will try to capitalize, offering economic incentives to sway Manila. The Philippines must balance Beijing's charm offensive with ongoing security concerns. The coming months will test Manila's resolve and the adaptability of its alliances. The story is far from over. A new chapter is just beginning. The Philippines' rejection of the F-16 is a defining act of self-determination. It shows that alliances matter, but national interest, economic stability, and sustainable security comes first. The U.S. must adapt, offering partnerships that respect sovereign priorities. The Indo-Pacific is becoming a multipolar arena, with nations like the Philippines charting their own paths. This could lead to a more resilient, stable region, less vulnerable to great power rivalry. The F-16 story is about a nation investing in its own future. The road ahead is uncertain, but the Philippines is choosing to be the author of its destiny. What do you think this means for Asia's future? Join the conversation.